Hey everybody, JJ here, back in again with a Wednesday of Zoom networking, and we got a really awesome young man today as our guest speaker. I've had the pleasure to meet this young man in person, and he is a rock star. Um, we met actually in Dallas at the
Yeah.
local event, Pace Morby Squad Up Summit. The young man is a powerhouse in real estate. His topic today is business funding, acquiring capital for your deals. I'd like to introduce my good friend, Mr. Cory Walker. Cory, how are you?
Pretty good. How you doing, JJ?
I'm good, man. I'm excited to have you on, and for those fortunate enough to be in LA later this month in June, I'm looking forward to seeing you again.
Absolutely. I can't wait.
Hey, so for those that don't know you, where in the country you located?
I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Aha, beautiful part of the country. So, let's talk about you for a second. We met in Dallas. Liz Lopez introduced us,
Yeah.
and I found out that you're, you know, pretty dynamic young man. You present yourself well. You're very smart. Love your presentation. But let me ask you, before you got into real estate, is this something you've done like since high school and college, or if not, what were you doing in your teens and your 20s before you got into the business world?
Well, I was an athlete. I played football in Arizona in junior college, and later went on to play at Miami of Ohio. I played football there. At the time, Ben Roethlisberger I was playing with him, and that's where entrepreneurship kind of was birthed at that point. One of my minors is in entrepreneurship, and I had a love for finance, so it was only a matter of time before I kind of fell into finance and loans and real estate.
Now, was that shortly after college for you that you made that jump into that field?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I started a week after graduation. I started in the mortgage industry and lending, and that's kind of where I cut my teeth and kind of got the foundation for understanding financing and loans and real estate, acquiring properties at a very young age, and
Wow.
that's where it's all started.
Wow. So what was your first foray into that? Were you working in lending, or were you working for a mortgage company, or
Yeah, I was working for a mortgage company, and it was back then. It was in subprime. It's kind of where I got introduced to lending with mortgages and started learning about dealing with refinancing, mostly refinancing home during the subprime era in the early 2000s. Understand read ABMs. I negotiated my first deal within 6 months of being in the mortgage industry. And that's when I really found it's like, wow, this is great. Negotiated my own deal and took down a condo, well, a townhouse in Tempe, Arizona. And that was my first real estate property.
man, sounds like you just been moving in the right direction. So now, do you work by yourself currently? Are you working with a company, or are you on your own, or
Currently, Omni Funding Solutions is my current company. I'm the president and CEO, and I have a team of about five or so, and also about 10 other contractors that help me as well, affiliates.
fantastic? Now you've not come through any paid group. We just kind of met at Squad Up, right? You're not in any particular paid education group, but you just sort of come up through the industry.
Yeah, yeah, just the good old fashioned way, networking, building relationships. I know that's what you preach, and that's why we really connected.
Yeah.
And that's the formula, just getting out there and making the right relationships and working hard.
We got some new people on the call. We'll have new people watching on YouTube University weeks and months down the line. For people that are brand new to this game, what is a mortgage?
Well, a mortgage is, in some terms, it's a certificate of death, but in a practical way, it's a mortgage is allowing you to have a agreement over a fixed amount of time until you complete it. And they range from 15 years to 30 years. This note will stay with you till it's deemed either paid or refinanced into another lien holder's position.
Okay, so someone wants to buy a house and they don't have, let's say it's a $500,000 home. They don't have all of it at one time. They enter a mortgage and an agreement to pay that money over so many years. and the agreement to pay that money over so many years is then called a mortgage. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, cool. Um, so let's get into your topic at hand, business funding,
Yes.
borrowing capital for your deals. What does that mean? Explain that. Let's get into the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, sure. So what that means is that, I'm pretty active in the sub two community, and what I bring to a lot of the gators and the sub two community with fix and flippers is I do creative financing through business loans. So gators love me because I get business lines of credit so they can lend out, and a lot of people in the sub two community like it because they can do acquisition money as well as money they can have to pay their contractors in between their draws. So I come with a very innovative, creative approach where they can leverage their LLC to get business lines of credit ranging from 50K to 200K. At many times, no doc. I don't promote no doc, but I would say about 80 to 90% is no doc. And they can basically control their own destiny. They can just pull from their credit line to invest and buy more real estate.
Now let's again having new people on the call. I'm always going over new terminology. What does no doc mean?
Okay, no documentation. If you hear me use the term no doc or light doc, a no doc loan meaning that you don't have to use any financials or tax returns. So there are certain institutions and banks through relationships I have that will allow you to qualify for a certain amount without providing any documentation. Because as an entrepreneur, you may show a loss, right? So if you show a loss on your taxes, we can then in turn just use a no doc program where it's no tax returns necessary, or a light doc, meaning that you may just have to provide not tax returns, bank statements to show the cash flow that's moving through your account.
Okay. And so if someone has a real estate business, they need funding for that. Say they're doing flips or they're wholesaling or they want to acquire. These are the type of things that one would acquire capital for their deals.
Correct. Correct.
And is there an experience requirement for this?
Well, I mean, if you have an LLC that is 2 years or longer, obviously the more seasoned the corporation is or entity, the better because it allows less risk, right? So if you're a startup, it'll be pretty tough, not impossible, but tough. But typically you need 2 years in business, or the entity needs to be at least 2 years old, and you need to have at least a 700 to 720 credit score to
Okay.
qualify.
They have to have some sort of duration. Is there a number of deals that are required or a number of any sort of experience kind of factor that plays into this?
Well, on the business side, right? If it, on the mortgage side, so I'm kind of a renaissance man with the mortgage industry because I have a mortgage background and the business loans, so I kind of understand both. If in private money lending, yes, you would need a track record, certain many houses that you've done. You need to have your scope of work. You need to either partner with a GC or kind of work it on your own, depending if you're trying to do ground up construction or if you're trying to do fix and flipping. But experience is key. The beauty about the business loan is you don't need any of that, right? You just need to have the entity and have the correct loan structure and loan package design to go out and get the money. If you're trying to do real estate, it'd be helpful for you to have those things in line in terms of, your scope of work and your resume showing what you have done, but that's not necessary to obtain the capital with the business loan because that's a different entity.
Okay, it looks like we got a question here. Let me bring this young lady on. Here we go. Sophia, you are on with Cory Walker. What's your question?
Hello there.
Hello.
Sorry, I was in and out getting ready. You said something about no doc. Can we schedule a call with you to explain that again? Because I kind of missed it. And is there a replay for this, JJ?
Oh, yeah, everything goes onto the YouTube channel. It's all going to be
Oh, okay,
we
okay.
got 350 interviews up there. Are you kidding? Cory, back to you, Cory.
Yes, so and hello, Sophia. Great question. Based upon, so the no dog loan is that you don't have any financials that are needed, no tax returns.
Mhm.
They can ask for tax returns or pay stub based upon your risk grade. Obviously, the higher your score, the more seasoned your business is. But I would say in most instances, they will not because we ask for certain dollar amounts that fit the threshold of the bank. And I run a full analytics on your company before we actually apply. I have my own algorithm in terms of the NAICS code that is used. and I can work with you in terms of the loan packaging. But majority of our products are no doc, and bank relationships understand that that's the market that we target, and they understand that we know the program. So a lot of the customers go into this program are no doc,
Okay.
no financials.
And so it's based on your personal credit score or your business credit score, I guess.
Well, the majority of the weight, because it's unsecured, and unsecured meaning that it's not attached to any real estate,
Mhm.
it will be predicated more on your credit score. So the minimum, I would say, is 700,
Mhm.
but 720 or higher, based upon the data we have, those are more higher approvals when you have 720 plus in 2 years in business. That gives us the best situation to get the funding. And our average client gets about 100K. So what that means is that, yes, the interest rate is between 9 and 11.5%, but your payment is based upon a 2% factor. So if you were to get a credit line for 100K,
Mhm.
you would pay 2% of the balance. So if you took the full draw, the full amount of the business line of 100,000, you would pay 2,000 a month. So if you got 100K approved and you only want to use 50,000, then you would only pay $1,000 a month. That's kind of the quick math on how to generate your payment. And that's important for fix and flippers and gators, so they can understand the cash flow or understand the return on investment.
Oh, okay. So as far as like the terms, is it like a year, 2 years, or is it just based on case by case usually?
Well, it's open-ended, right? So it's almost like a credit card, but it's not. It's revolving. So it's an actual credit line. So
Oh,
you
okay.
pay based upon what you use.
Oh, okay. And upon approval, right? How quickly does that process happen?
Typically, you get approved within 3 to 4 weeks is the total process. I
Mhm.
have some that, depending on what state you are
Mhm.
in, you can get approved within 2 weeks. I would say 2 weeks is the max. Typically, average is about 3 to 4 weeks. A lot of that is predicated on you and how organized you are as an entrepreneur and a business owner, or providing the proper documentation, such as, you want to have your articles of incorporation, your operating agreement. You want to make sure that you're in good standing with a particular state. And a lot of my entrepreneurs that are fix and flippers and dealing with real estate, they always have like a Delaware Corp or a Wyoming Corp.
Mhm.
And we just want to make sure you're foreign filing and you're in the right state that you live in and it's filed correctly. So we're compliant. And once you have all those boxes checked, we're off to the races.
Felicia, you are on with Cory Walker. What's your question?
Hi, Corey. Thank you for
Hello,
being
Felicia.
here. My question is, I'm asking from my standpoint, but also for new beginners. My LLC is 4 years old. However, I do not have a portfolio. I do have over 720 credit score, and then I also have annuities in place. I just retired today, so I've been putting them in different locations, one and some in real estate, self-directed real estate. So if I wanted to borrow from you, talk to me about me being your client,
Okay.
possible client. What are you taking me through?
Well, you said a couple of things. You have a 4-year-old corporation or LLC. I'm not quite sure what entity structure you have, if it's an S Corp, C Corp, or an LLC. Uh,
Escort.
okay, S Corp, which is fine. So 4 years is strong. That's a really strong corp. And then you mentioned also that you have over 720 score.
Yes.
All right. And
Personal.
what is do you have real estate in your business name? I mean, is it a generic name or consulting company?
No, I
Okay.
have no, just the
Okay.
LLC.
Perfect. All right. So you'll be a very good candidate for us to acquire, 50 to 100K pretty easily.
Mhm.
Based upon what you're telling me, obviously we do an underwrite, but
Right.
our avatar of a client is 2 years or longer in business and
Mhm.
720 plus credit score. So with my tutelage and my coaching and loan structuring and packaging, you'll be an ideal client for us to probably get 100K. What state are you in,
I'm
Felicia?
in Arkansas.
Oh, Arkansas. Okay, I'm originally from Little Rock, Arkansas.
What?
Yeah, woo pig suey.
Which
So
high school in Little Rock, and then we'll go from
no,
there.
I just went to I went to Cloverdale. I went to junior high in Arkansas and in Little Rock, and then I went to high school here. So I was just born there and pretty much grew up
Okay.
most. So
Okay.
it's always good
So,
to see a fellow Arkansan.
well, thank you. Very rare.
Yes.
So let me ask you this too. So what would you suggest? What type of real estate ownership should I go? Should I go for multifamily, single, flip and flip, fix and flip? What?
Well, I mean, it's where your experience at, and I can tell you that most of the programs that I do for the entrepreneurs that come to me, it's for either fix and flip or multifamily, right? So if you're doing multifamily, that's going to require higher down payment. So what a lot of the structures we set up with my multifamily investors is if they're going, say, if they're trying to tackle a home or a building for $1 million, well, we can be creative. I have a lender that will give them 65% loan. If we can have the seller carry 25%, you would only have to come to the table with 10% of which we can raise or creatively get through business lines of credit. So that 10%, you basically can get 100% financing if you have the right combo, right? If you have someone that is willing to carry a certain portion, to cash is king. So we want you to keep that cash and we can leverage that with your LLC as down payment money, and then you can purchase that property. So that's how a lot of the multifamily investors use the product. If you're looking to fix and flip, it's very similar. I can get money for you from leveraging your LLC for down payment. So you would, if you're buying, just using smaller numbers, if it was, $100,000 home and you needed 20% to put down, if you were going to a DSCR type product, we would then get you the 20%, which is 20,000, through a business line of credit, and that will help with your acquisition costs. Now, if you already have a private money lender in place or a DSCR lender, you may, if you're flipping the property or trying to fix it, you may have that in place, but you still may need money to pay your contractor in between draws. So if we get you a business line of credit, you can use that in between your draw schedule to pay your contractors. So there are very different, many facets and ways that we can do it depending on your goal and what you're trying to achieve.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Antonina, you're on with Cory Walker. What's your question?
Hi Corey. We
Hello.
met at Fashion Bros back in April, so it's really good to see you again. Thanks for
Likewise.
being here. Uh,
Thank you.
so my question was actually, I think, partially answered with Sophia's question and Felicia's. I was just gonna ask, if it was, if you help people establish their business line of credit. So I think that was already covered.
Business line of credit,
Mhm.
or are you saying like business credit? Because I think someone mentioned about business credit earlier, and that's kind of
Okay.
different. Yeah, that's a different standpoint. I mean, my recommendation, if that question was pertaining to business credit, I kind of refer people over just simple. I mean, Dun and Bradstreet has a great paydex score program. I think you pay them like 250, and that set you up on get going, and that help you get some net 60s and net 30s. And what they are basically like Elands of the world, or some of these Costco and Home Depot. You can set up these little accounts to where you can build some type of business credit with them by buying things from them, right? And by setting up these lines, eventually it will build up your credit. That is not necessarily necessary. However, it's helpful when we do try to go get your funding, but you don't need that for the type of funding that I get between 50 to 200K. It's helpful, but it's not necessary. But I always recommend people, yes, it's places out there you can get that will help you get bigger trade lines, but I would just do the booster program with DNB just to kind of set the tone and as a starting point to establish your business credit.
Majada, you're on with Cory Walker. What's your question?
Okay, hello. Thank you,
Hello.
JJ, Corey, everybody for being here. Appreciate you. Okay, well, my question is, I was wanting to know if you could briefly give me an example of what type of products that you offer LLC for lending. I'm sure you have various ones.
Yeah, so it depends on like your need and the purpose of the loan, right? So I can tell you that the pretty much the minimum for a business line of credit that we've been seeing lately is anywhere from 15K, 15,000 to 200,000. So in that dollar amount is going to be predicated on your business profile. So if you're 1 year in business or have a younger LLC, then that's more riskier. So you may not get approved for 100K. It may be a smaller dollar amounts. So it's really predicated on your strategy and your goal of what you're trying to achieve. If you're trying to raise 200K and you have a younger LLC and an aged LLC, one of the strategies that we do is we combine them and we use two LLCs to get the amount you want. So if you have maybe a 1 year in business, you may be limited to maybe 25K, but then you have another LLC. We can use that LLC as well to go out and get additional capital. So it depends on the bank's exposure. Some banks will cap you at 150,000 total exposure, meaning that they won't give you over that 150K for both LLCs, right? So it just depends on what state you are in and what your goals are. But it's very straightforward in terms of the product. It's more in terms of packaging and coming up with the right strategy for your goals for the product because it's the same product, but it's how it's packaged and presented based upon your goals.
Okay, that makes sense. So, I basically, the word I get from that is that whatever the investor their goals, and then also to whatever credentials.
Alicia, you are on with Cory Walker. What's your question, girl?
Cory, I got 70 brand new kids, no one left behind. They all want to buy a piece of property. I have no idea what the process is to get these kids funded. I'm trying to partner them up with the experience and all the things. I would really like to know what you would recommend. It's either that or they don't get to buy anything. They have to do all the work and then they'll get a little bit and everybody else will buy all their property. So if they want to buy their own property and we can structure the deal and it's just amazing and we've got equity and we get it on sale and the numbers make sense, just the numbers. How
Are they
would you recommend we go about getting these people funded for their deals?
Well, it depends on what the goal. Are they trying to buy these properties to flip, or are they trying to buy these properties to hold? Because cash flow is kind of the deal
So
that.
right now, what we're looking for is we're surfing around the military bases and the colleges and the things like that, and doing the multifamily. And we're looking for the subject to, and we're looking for the cash flow specifically so that the property itself will pay the bill.
Got it. So it sounds like your exit is you're looking long term, right? Or it's not a
Yep.
short term play. Okay. All right.
Well, at least for now, it'll be, I mean, yeah, sure, we'd love to look long term, but it could be a flip.
So it's a few different strategies, and I can just kind of give you from the experience. If they're just fixing flipping any private money, and they need acquisition money, if they have an LLC or they can partner or do a JV with someone who has a
Mm-hmm.
seasoned LLC, that'd be great because they can work out a deal to where we can leverage that person LLC and add them to it, and then they can maybe work out something with the profits on the actual purchase of the property.
Just to follow up with that, for those that are listening, when you guys are new and you don't have experience, you haven't been around for 2 years, you don't have a track record, and you want to get a deal, you know, for those who don't know what No One Left Behind is, it's a challenge, if not a course, to help new people that, are feeling left behind after paying money to how do they not get left behind. But I say it all the time, real estate's a relationship business. It's about building relationships. And I say it all the time, chase the relationship, don't chase the deal. A lot of these new people are chasing the deal, but you need to chase the relationships and put yourself in the position to get to know people that are successful that will want to help you because they know you, right? There are successful people that will very well have 100 people reaching out to them, but frequently, I don't know you. Why am I going to work with someone I don't know? The deal may be good, but if they don't have the money, all they really have is a wholesale opportunity. And here's 10 grand, and let me take your wholesale opportunity and see you later. So if people are really, really new, and correct me if I'm wrong, Corey,
Mm.
what they want to do is build the relationships, build your network before you need it, build relationships. That way, the new investor can joint venture with an experienced investor. And when you do enough deals with someone who's willing to maybe give you a little bit bigger piece of the pie, then you're starting to develop a track record and you've done a couple of deals and it's going to be easier to move on your own. I know a lot of people that are looking to help the newer investors are say, do all the work, bring me a lead, let's get this transaction, we'll make it a deal, and I'm going to give you $500. I'm going to give you $1,000. I'm going to take $20,000 because there are different people that are going to give you guys a different cut. People, if you have a better relationship, people are going to give you a little bit bigger piece of the pie, but that comes to building the relationship first. Corey, what's your take on that? Is it kind of similar?
Well, yeah, very similar. I mean, it's trust, right? I mean, they're not going to just give you a huge split out the gate until they see how you perform and if the chemistry's there, right? And if the relationships are there and y'all vibing, then and you see, and the seasoned investor can see that, hey, you're sharp and you did what you say. Now you move to the next level. It's kind of my philosophy that I teach: crawl, walk, run,
Yeah.
right? So you start crawling and then you start walking, and before you know it, you're running. So you want to start small, and I think that's how you build that rapport in that crawling process. And then on the next deals moving forward, I think that's when you can start walking and then running with the relationship.
Denise John, Cory Walker, what's your question?
Hey, thank you so much, JJ, for having me today. I actually am doing some a little bit of research on Corey and your company, but
Okay.
I have spoken with, I want to say, seven different funding companies. I do have excellent credit, like one of the ladies said earlier. Um, but the only thing they're really offering is credit cards, not lines of credit. And every time I ask someone, I'm Gator Sub 2 and I'm also in RPM, um, and another mastermind group for raising capital, which is Amy Majuri's group. And in those communities, a lot of people always say these things, but once I start networking with them and you get into the crux of like their business, the things they say aren't true.
Mm.
And so the issue and challenge that I'm having for my business is actually getting lines of credit. So if
Okay.
you're able to like set up some time to sit with me and help me do that, I have, I want to say 20 credit cards. I don't need any more credit cards. I've built these amazing relationships with American Express, Capital One, Navy Federal, but because my business is risk adverse, I'm not, for some reason, able to get the lines of credit.
I see. Well, the thing is, and I have nothing against individuals who are doing the capital stack and credit cards and whatnot, but I've been in lending for 24 years and I've been in business doing the business loans for over 20. And that's something that I've always consistently done throughout my career, even when I was doing the mortgages, right? But my superpower is the business loan, creative financing. And a lot of that is based upon my knowledge and relationship. That's what JJ preaches, relationship. So, it's further than just having a branch manager or whatever. I have relationships with some guys who used to be personal bankers and now they're VPs of banks. So these relationships have been curated over a course of 20 years. So I know underwriting. I'm basically like a CFO who's a fundraiser. So I know the underwriting inside and out. So I put you in the best probability to get loans. Most of my capital stack, okay, is about 95% business lines of credit and only 5% of credit cards. The 0%. Everyone has Chase card, right? Inc. We're beyond that. We're talking real business lines of credit that I can set you up with for your entity. So it sounds like you got a great relationship as long as your utilization is, below 30%. It sounds like you already know that to have 20. I think you'll be a very prime candidate to take advantage of some of these business lines of credit. And if you're in Georgia, I have a lot of banks and relationships there that I think I can help you.
Okay. Thank you, Corey. I'm setting an appointment now. I
Okay.
appreciate it. I have a
Yes, ma'am.
house in Tennessee under my business as well that's been the bane of my existence.
Mm.
I would like to get rid of. So
Okay.
thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Corey, brother, great content today. Thank you so much. I saw the pens moving in the little windows there and people asking questions. Hey, if people are watching on YouTube like weeks and months down the line and they want to reach out to you, what's the best way to connect with you? Would it be your MySpace page, your TikTok, Snapchat? What's the best way to reach you?
Well, for discovery, if they want to learn a little bit more about the products and schedule a book a call, they can go to my website, which is the omnifunding solutions.com. They can get a free ebook, on my crawl, walk, run philosophy, and or they can, take a snapshot of the several products that we have, from private money to the business lines of credit to commercial lending.
Cool. You have a really nice looking website, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
You got some serious stuff on here. Looks really, really good. So again, guys, this is Corey's website. OmniFundingSolutions.com is Corey's website. Is your Facebook page.
Yeah.
Beautiful ocean. Great picture of you.
Thank you.
Facebook page looks really, really good, brother. Really markets you well. And you guys, if you're not already following Corey on Instagram, please do so. Please follow him on Instagram. And then you got a YouTube channel too, right? And here we go, Cory Walker Funding. So guys, subscribe to his YouTube, follow him on Instagram, and if you're on the call right now, guys, send him a message on Instagram. Let him know that you're on the call today. And those are the best ways to reach you.
Yes, sir.
And again, I've got two questions. You answered one of them. What's the best way for people to reach you? My last question to you would be, I talk about networking all the time, and you've touched on this a little bit. Uh, there's so many people there's so many education groups teaching different things: cold calling, short sales, creative finance, wholesaling. Everything can be taught in different groups offering these educations. And people are coming every single day by the dozens to all these groups. Some are brand new investors, inexperienced, some are very experienced, coming to social media for the first time to join these groups, join their education programs. How important is it to the real estate investor today, whether they're brand new or experienced? How important is it to them, to the success of their business, to use social media, to network, to build relationships?
Well, it's very important, right? The social media, getting with gurus like yourself that, it's so many people naive in this space in terms of how to properly, market themselves, and you're a beacon in that area. And I thank you for the help that you've helped me with from that standpoint. That's one aspect with the social media. In terms of networking, that's what I really, really focus on, is getting in the right rooms and being yourself, and knowing what type of crowd you want to be in.
Yeah.
Knowing what's in the room, doing your research on the actual place, who's going to be there. Otherwise, you're being social, right? But when people get to know you and you have a relationship, you can let your light shine, and go with an intent and purpose. What are you trying? What's the goal of going to this event? Just don't go to an event to go there. What are some of the things that you want to achieve and walk away from? So that's something that I do when I travel all over the country, networking. You can see on my social media, I'm in Orlando tomorrow. I'm being in Vegas for another mastermind. So I'm always networking and always building the key relationships. To me, relationships are way far
Yeah.
important than transactions.
Most important. I say it all the time. Don't chase the deal, chase the relationship. And of course, you're going to be in Los Angeles on the weekend of June 20th and 21st at my event in Los Angeles.
Absolutely. I'm very excited about it.
Can't wait to see you. So, if you guys are watching on YouTube right now, please like Corey's video. Please put in the comment sections what your takeaways were, what you found informative. If you have suggestions for me on how we can improve my product, how we can bring you a better video, maybe some guest speakers you might want to see, please put that down in the comment section. Again, if you want to connect with Corey, here is his YouTube channel, Cory Walker Funding on YouTube. Please subscribe to his YouTube. His Instagram again is Cory Walker Funding. Please follow him on Instagram. Again, here is his Facebook, Cory Walker. Send him a message. And then his website again is Omni Funding Solutions. So please, that's how you can connect with Cory. If you want to connect with me, scan the turquoise QR code. Takes you to my website, jjazizian.com, and register for my group. The little pulsating register now button next to my face. If you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel and see not only Cory's interview, but all the dozens and hundreds of videos that we have with great content, great speakers such as Cory himself, scan the purple QR code and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you guys are on the call right now, don't go away. We're going to talk to Cory a little bit more in private. We're going to do some breakout rooms. And Cory, as far as for everybody else watching on YouTube, we'll see them out in the world of virtual networking, right?
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Look forward
guys.
to it.
See you soon. Thanks for joining us.